Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take a stack of information and unearth the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight just for you. Today, we're plunging into a truly chilling narrative that really blurs the lines between online presence and unexplained phenomena. It's a story that asks what happens when the digital world seems to open a door to something. Well, something far more ancient and terrifying.
We've been given an excerpt from a horror podcast. It's called Shadows and Stories, and it details an allegedly true experience. It took a very, very unexpected turn for a YouTuber. So our mission here is to meticulously dissect this account, pull out every key detail, every unsettling moment, and understand the chilling progression of events that led to a perplexing disappearance. And then, perhaps even more unsettling, what came next.
Right. So if you're ready to explore a digital haunting that seems to bleed into reality, let's unpack this. We're diving into the mysterious case of a YouTuber known online as TyQuake. Okay, so our story begins with TyQuake online. He was a self-described mid-tier YouTuber, and he was carving out a pretty specific niche, reviewing haunted locations, urban legends, that kind of thing. Things were looking up for him. He just hit 100,000 subs, which is a big milestone. And the algorithm, as he put it, loved my haunted series, so he was kind of on a roll, right?
He certainly was, riding that wave. And that's precisely when the catalyst arrived, twisting his success into something sinister. An anonymous email. It had no sender, no subject. Just one very unsettling line. Film what you see, post it all, no edits.
But here's where it gets really chilling. The email also had coordinates. Now, Tyler initially thought they'd lead to some abandoned place, maybe a new spot to explore for the channel, but they actually led straight to my own address in Columbus, Ohio. This wasn't just a tip-off, it felt like a directive. Wow. Yeah, my jaw would be on the floor. Tyler naturally dismissed it at first, thought it was just a prank from a fan, which makes sense. But something made him pause. The source material tells us cold spots had already started forming in his bathroom. And that detail for me is pretty key. It wasn't completely out of the blue. So he decided to set up cameras anyway, one in the living room, one in the hallway, and crucially, one in the bathroom where those spots were. He was taking precautions, maybe hedging his bets. But what do you make of the fact that he actually followed this anonymous command even partway, even thinking it was a prank?
Well, it's a classic horror setup, isn't it? He's a YouTuber known for haunted content, so it plays directly into his brand. It makes it easier to rationalize, maybe even exciting in a weird way. But his decision, driven by those pre-existing cold spots you mentioned, transforms it. It goes from just documenting a potential prank into an unwitting invitation. He's essentially opening his home, his life to whatever or whoever sent that email. And that's where the true violation really begins.
And the morning after setting up those cameras, yeah, that door swung wide open, didn't it? What happened next was just bizarre. Tyler had uploaded a normal vlog the night before titled, "I think my apartment is cursed," but he woke up to find that video had over 1.2 million views. Huge numbers. The problem, Tyler hadn't posted it. This isn't just a technical glitch, right? This feels like a profound breach of his digital space.
It's the first act of, profound digital violation. Tyler's own channel, his public face, is essentially hijacked and weaponized against him. And the content of that video wasn't just him sleepwalking, which is creepy enough. It was footage he had no memory of creating, filming myself from odd angles, staring into corners, and that soft, sinister, laughing softly, to that. It points to a deliberate, invasive control, turning his unconscious state into this kind of puppet show for whatever was watching. It's a very intimate kind of horror, almost like a modern form of possession, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. And as if that wasn't creepy enough, during the sleepwalking footage, Tyler was heard whispering a name he swore he'd never heard before. Eleanor. What did you make of that? It feels like the first real clue, the first breadcrumb, doesn't it?
Precisely. That name, Eleanor, is the linchpin. It really transforms the random, unsettling incidents into something historically anchored and deeply personal to that apartment. It's the moment the digital haunting gets a potential face, a backstory. It prompts Tyler to do some digging, right? He checks the building's registry, and he discovers that back in 1997, a woman named Eleanor Priest lived in this exact unit. And the details. She was found dead in the bathtub, no signs of injury, eyes wide open. Chilling. This isn't just coincidence anymore. This connects the present-day digital horror directly to a past physical tragedy, suggesting a malevolent force tied specifically to that location.
Okay, so the digital intrusion didn't stop with that one video. It escalated quickly. On the third night, Tyler started seeing new uploads to his channel videos he never made. So this wasn't just a one-off weird event. It was becoming a consistent, unauthorized takeover of his platform. For anyone building an online presence, I mean, this has got to be the ultimate nightmare, right? Losing control of your voice, your content, your entire digital identity.
It's a profound loss of agency, especially in the digital age where that is your identity for so many people. And the content of these new videos was increasingly unnerving, almost designed, it seemed, to torment him. One showed him apparently opening a locked closet where something inside moved. Just a flicker, but enough. Another showed his reflection in the mirror turning its head after he walked away. That's incredibly subtle, but so terrifying. It implies surveillance, even when he thinks he's alone. This entity wasn't just watching, it was actively manipulating his environment, his footage, proving it could reach beyond his perception.
But the upload that really got me, it had no video at all, just audio. The sounds described were absolutely chilling. Gurgling, crying, horrible sounds, and then layered underneath a faint voice whispering, "Tell them what you did." This wasn't just showing off power, it felt like a direct accusatory message. It's almost like the entity was trying to communicate something specific, or maybe implicate him in something.
That audio-only clip is particularly insidious. It strips away the visual, forcing you to confront the horror purely through sound, which can be incredibly evocative, tapping into primal fears. And that line, "Tell them what you did," that's a significant shift, isn't it? It suggests something deeper, maybe a more personal vendetta, possibly linking Tyler somehow to Eleanor's fate, even if he has no conscious idea how. It's an accusation designed to braid him psychologically. So, faced with this escalating horror, Tyler desperately tried to regain control. He attempted to delete his entire channel, just wipe it. But each time he tried, he got this message: "Your channel belongs to us now." He even unplugged his cameras, thinking that would cut off the source. But the uploads continued. This just highlights a terrifying loss of control, a complete surrender of his digital self. He's trapped.
And then the digital intrusion turned physical. The horror literally stepped out of the screen, didn't it? Tyler began to see her. A woman, soaked, barefoot, standing at the edge of his bed every night at 3:11 a.m. That specific time. What does that progression signify? Moving from online harassment to a physical presence right there in his bedroom.
It's the ultimate invasion, the final boundary crossed. It tells us this isn't just some clever hacker or a digital ghost. This entity, whatever it is, seems to have the power to manifest, to cross the barrier between the online world and the tangible one, leaving Tyler with absolutely no sanctuary, nowhere to hide. And that 3:11 a.m. detail, it suggests a precise, almost ritualistic terror, a complete control over his waking and sleeping life. He's gone from documenting hauntings to being trapped inside one with seemingly no escape.
So, after all of this, Tyler finally reached out. He contacted the host of the original podcast, Shadows and Stories, with what turned out to be his one final message. And it was a series of chilling warnings. Directed at anyone who might find his recording, he said, and this is a direct quote, "If you find this recording, do not look for me. Do not repost my content. If you hear them knocking, don't answer. If she says your name, never reply." Those aren't just warnings. They sound like rules, don't they? Rules learned the hard way.
They absolutely are rules, and they speak volumes about the nature of the entity and the trap Tyler clearly felt he was in. He's essentially mapping out the playbook for avoiding what happened to him. It's a desperate attempt to protect others from a fate he couldn't seem to escape. And the original podcast narrators, John and Mary, they revealed the grim reality behind that message. Tyler's message was sent 3 weeks ago, and no one's heard from Tyler since. Vanished. But his channel didn't go dormant with him. It remains active, uploading weekly. That detail alone just sends shivers down your spine.
It really does. His channel is still active, posting content, but he's gone. And here's where the original podcast itself gets pulled into the story in this really unsettling way. It blurs the lines between the story they're reporting and their own reality, because the most recent video on Tyler's channel, the one uploaded after he disappeared, it was titled, "Coming Soon, Mary's Story." Mary, of course, being one of the original podcast narrators. It's like the entity used Tyler's channel to announce its next target. Utterly terrifying.
That's the boundary collapse right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
The story reaching out, the narrator's reaction, you could hear it in the original audio. It was immediate and raw.
Yeah.
Mary was audibly shocked, stammering, "Wait, what?" And John, even though he was the one reading the title from the screen, he was quick to deny involvement, stating flatly, "I didn't upload that. It clearly wasn't part of their script, wasn't planned." It's the ultimate meta horror moment where the story they're investigating suddenly claims one of them as its next potential chapter.
And the original podcast, it then ended so abruptly. Terrifyingly, really. Mary's tense whisper was that knocking, followed immediately by John's very serious decision. We need to end the episode here. They then made a direct plea to their listeners, asking for any information about Tyler, about his videos, anything. And their final statement just amplified the dread. Part 2 might depend on you. It leaves you hanging with this unbearable sense of unfinished business and the chilling possibility that this story isn't over, and maybe it's not confined to just the internet anymore.
What's truly fascinating here from an analytical perspective is how the narrative so carefully layers the dread. It starts with that digital invasion of Tyler's channel, moves to the physical manifestation of Unity, and then culminates in that chilling, unexpected twist affecting the narrators themselves. It really forces you to question the boundaries we perceive between the story and the storyteller, especially, in the age of online content where everything feels so immediate and potentially interactive.
Exactly. So you've heard the progression of Tyler's story, how a seemingly harmless YouTube niche, something he was passionate about, turned into this absolute nightmare. A nightmare that consumed his online identity and potentially his very existence. This isn't just a ghost story, it's a modern-day tale of digital vulnerability, invasion, and maybe something worse. So what does this all mean for you, maybe watching or creating content online? It makes you think, doesn't it?
Absolutely. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it makes you consider the terrifying power a story can have when it feels like it's breaking out of its confines, when the digital realm we spend so much time in becomes a new kind of canvas for something ancient, something malicious. It leaves you with this lingering sense of vulnerability, especially when technology is woven so deeply into the fabric of the haunting itself.
We've unpacked the disturbing details from this deep dive piece by piece. Now, here's something for you to consider. If a story could truly reach out and claim new participants, like those final uploads hinted at, what kind of digital do not cross lines would you establish for yourself online? How would you make sure your screen remains just a window and not a doorway?